You've been hit by a car. You're sore, you're shaken, you're still probably barely processing what happened. And then it happens. The call comes in, and the other driver's insurance is on the other line offering you a settlement. They make it sound reasonable, quick money, no hassles. But here's what they're not telling you. The moment you take the money and you sign on the dotted line, your case is closed. That's it. No do-overs. Doesn't matter if your injuries get worse, and it doesn't matter if your bills skyrocket afterward. Hi, I'm Ted Spaulding. I'm a personal injury attorney here in Georgia, and I've seen so many people sign away their rights before they even know what their case is really worth, and ultimately signing away their rights for far less than their case is worth. In this video, I am going to walk you through how early settlement offers work, the tactics insurers use to push them fast, and how to tell if you're being lowballed. So the point is so you don't get rushed into a decision, you don't leave money on the table, or lose the chance to get the compensation that you rightly deserve. And stay with me to the end, because there's one mistake people make on that first phone call that costs them their entire case, even when they don't settle early. So let's break it down. Should I accept an early settlement offer from the other driver's insurance company? If you want to know the honest answer, it's this. Most of the time, you should not take that early offer until one of two things, really both of these things, become true. Number one, you understand your injuries in total. And number two, you understand what you're giving up if you take the offer. See, because an early offer is not the insurance company being kind. It's the insurance company trying to close your file before it potentially gets really big. And those real costs show up to you and to them. So let's talk about why this happens. So why do insurance companies make early settlement offers? Well, you got to remember what the insurance company's job is, and it's only one job, and that's to pay as little as possible and as fast as possible while still making you go away. So what they're trying to do is get that early phone call in and act like they're being really, really generous and nice to you and really confident that you're going to be okay and those sorts of things, to give you this early offer, hoping that you will take it before you realize what your case is really worth. And see, they're calling because they're confident that you don't know the full picture yet, because you don't. You oftentimes won't know the full picture of your injuries. Remember those two things I just said, your injuries and what you would be giving up. You're not oftentimes going to know the full extent of your injuries for months, if not longer. And they know this. They're taking advantage of this. They're trying to use this lack of knowledge right now against you so they can do their job. They can settle as quickly and as cheaply as possible. See, because they know that you're stressed, your car's messed up, you're dealing with the property damage, you don't know what your injuries are yet, and they start throwing numbers at you. And again, this is in hopes that you will take this without them having to really wait for the full value of your case to blossom. Now, there's one more thing that they know that you don't, and that is that oftentimes injuries don't fully show up right away. You might feel fine at the scene. You might feel fine the next day. They know this. Then if it does start to rear its ugly head a day or two later, they know that that's just the beginning. They're trying to take advantage of this lack of knowledge. That's why these early offers exist, so they can hedge their bets. Your case may be worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $300,000. If they can get you to take $5,000 now, that is extremely worth it to them. Now, there may be some cases where it's not even worth $5,000, but they're taking that risk, and it's the law of averages. They have so many of these files that if they give $5,000 out to all of them, they're saving a tremendous amount of money. Now, one thing I want you guys to know is, what do I mean by an early settlement offer? Well, what I ultimately mean is early in the sense of you don't know clearly what your diagnoses are, and you don't have a full treatment plan yet. Again, these can take months. That's what early means. So it doesn't have to be first day, second day. It could be an offer a week later. You're still not going to know these things. You haven't had follow-up visits. You haven't had physical therapy yet, much less through all of the physical therapy to know whether you're going to need more. And see, they're doing all of this before the pain really is going to kick in and you really have a good idea. What you got to remember is in Georgia, you generally have plenty of time to bring a claim and case against the at-fault party and their insurance company. You don't have to make a decision within days or weeks, even months of the wreck. You have plenty of time to get all the treatment you need to make sure all of your injuries are documented and you don't miss any of your pain and suffering, any of your medical costs, any of your lost wages. And it gives you time to get all of this information. It comes through documents, records, and bills and things of that nature. You have time to collect all of this. You want to give it that time. Now, what you need to know with these early settlement offers is they're going to have you sign a release. So what does that mean and what's the ramification? Well, a release is saying, I accept this money and I give up the right to pursue not only your insured, meaning the at-fault driver, but you, the insurance company, any further for any claims. That means future medical expenses, future lost wages, future pain and suffering. You are settling your entire case, including what it means for the future. It is 100% done. That means even if after the settlement, the doctor says, hey, we just found another injury. Or what typically happens is you now need a surgery or you need 6 months more physical therapy. It does not matter. You have settled your case. You cannot go back. You get one bite at the apple and that is it. You sign the release, you accept the settlement offer, sign the release, your case is over. You cannot go back and undo it. Now, you may be wondering at this point, well, why do people take early settlement offers? Well, in my experience, people take early settlement offers for a couple of reasons. Number one, they don't know all of their rights. So the things that we've just been going through, they're not aware of the fact that they're fully settling it, that they can't go back later for future treatment and other costs. Or personal circumstances. Because again, I don't blame folks in these positions when they're really tempted to take it because they've got really difficult situations. Bills are piling up. You're missing work. You need a rental car. You're getting calls every single day. The adjusters sound friendly. It seems like everything's going to be fine with your injuries. Now, this is something I want to stop and talk about. Adjusters sounding friendly. I'm not saying that they're totally maniacal people, but remember, they're trying to do their job and get a case done. So they know how to, in essence, work people. They're going to say things like, this is the best we can do. This is the value of your case. This is fair. If you don't accept it, it's going to take months and months. I can't tell you that I'm going to go back to this number. It might be lower later if you don't. All of these things they're allowed to say. Now, none of them are necessarily 100% true because, again, they don't know what your real value of your case is any more than you do at this early stage. So them saying this is the best offer, them saying this is the best they're ever going to do, it might go lower, probably not true. Your case is probably only going to gain value, not decrease in value. But they're allowed to say these things to try to convince you to take the settlement now. And I don't blame people that don't know their rights, haven't heard from a lawyer like me that are giving them this type of advice so they know what they're getting into. And the fact that they can just stop and say, listen, we'll talk later. I want to get treatment, find out how I'm doing, and then we can talk about value of my case and trying to resolve it. People don't know that they can do this. And so they fall into the pressure, both the personal pressure, finances, and this adjuster pressuring them and not knowing truly what their case is worth. So I get it. It can be a perfect storm to get people to take these early settlement offers. So what do you risk if you settle too soon? Well, you risk potentially everything. You can get stuck with the medical bills that exceed the settlement. You lose the ability to claim future treatment, future lost wages. You miss more time from work going forward after the settlement. That's on you. You cannot go back again because you're done. You're ending it right then and there. And one of the biggest mistakes or biggest things that you lose is you lose leverage, because again, it's done. You do not get to go back a second time and say, now my case is worth more than it was before, so pay me the difference. This is it. You are done. So you are losing all value and therefore leverage of your future medical expenses, your future lost wages, and most importantly, your future pain and suffering, which includes what are your limitations. If God forbid you have a case where you're going to have permanent limitations and you're settling within days or weeks of the wreck, you're not getting fully compensated for all of your future pain and suffering, which includes limitations of daily life from your injuries. So you could be losing tremendously by settling super early for a low number before you know the full picture of your case. So we've been talking about what the risks are in taking an early settlement offer and why you probably shouldn't take it. Well, let's now talk real quickly, because I'm sure you're wondering, well, what does a fair settlement in Georgia look like? What is it supposed to cover? Well, a fair settlement is supposed to cover all of your past, present, and future medical costs, all of your past, present, and future lost wages, and all of your past, present, and future pain and suffering. Those three components is the total value of your personal injury case in Georgia. So you should be covering all of that with a settlement. And so that's on the personal injury side. Then you got the property damage side. Property damage, full repair of your vehicle. Diminished value if it's repaired. Full diminished value. Or if it's totaled, the full fair market value of your vehicle 1 second before the wreck occurred. So with the personal injury and the property damage, all of that combined is what would look like a fair settlement in Georgia on a personal injury case involving a car wreck. Anything less than that is not fair compensation. Now, what I tell people is a good, fair settlement in Georgia is going to take time. If it goes quickly, it is probably not a fair settlement. The only time it goes quickly and it is a fair settlement is when there's not enough insurance coverage. You have massive injuries and there's a low policy, like the minimum in Georgia, which is $25,000. If you've already racked up $50,000 in bills, they're going to tender their $25,000 very quickly. That's not a good thing, but it is a fair settlement because that's all there is in insurance. Short of that, anything that is quick is probably not fair. It takes time, folks. Don't fall for the fallacy of this should be fast, 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 fast. That's what the insurance company wants, because fast means cheap. You're not going to get fair compensation with a super fast settlement. So take your time. Don't get stressed out by how long it takes. As long as you have a lawyer who is pushing it forward, they're not a cause for delay. Everything is going the way it should be. It takes time. So I'm often asked, well, when is it potentially acceptable to take an early settlement offer? Well, yes, there are times when it would be acceptable, but really only one time. What is that? Well, that is when you've been checked out by a doctor. There's really no injuries. Nothing is hurting. The symptoms have resolved. You've given it a good week or so and literally nothing. You don't even have soreness. And therefore, all you've got is like some inconvenience damages, things like that, a little bit of pain for a couple of days and one visit to a doctor. Property damage, obviously, as well. If that's it, settlement early makes all the sense in the world, because you're not going to get more treatment. You know you feel fine. Things aren't going to rear its ugly head. You've given it a week or 2 or 3. They haven't come back. Go ahead and settle. That's still considered an early settlement 3 weeks out. That would be fine, but that is the exception to the rule. The rule normally is it's going to take a lot longer than that, and you should not accept an early settlement offer because you should be still treating. You're still having soreness. Things might still come around injury-wise. You've got a lot of treatment to get through. Don't sign anything if you're the rule, not the exception I just gave you. Because if you sign off on a settlement, you're done. Can't look back later. Can't go back a second time. Now, let's give you a quick way to tell if you're being lowballed. Being lowballed is, again, it's the job of the insurance company, right? So what are some of the signs that you might be in a situation where you are getting lowballed once you do get around to settlement? Well, again, if the offer shows up before you've had any real medical treatment, you're being lowballed for everything we just said earlier in the video. That's that early settlement offer. That's a red flag. You should not accept it if you're still hurt and you're not falling into that exception I just talked about. If they want to do a recorded statement immediately, take this offer or let's do a recorded statement, you're being lowballed. If they want you to sign quickly and they're constantly calling you day and day and day and day, are you going to accept? Are you going to accept? Are you going to accept? You're being lowballed. If the offer barely covers your medical bills, you're being lowballed. And here's the big one. If you still don't know what's wrong with you, you fall into the majority where you're getting an offer before you fully know what your injuries are. You don't have full diagnoses. You don't have a treatment plan. You are being lowballed. There's no two ways around it. This is how it happens. It happens all the time. They're trying to get the case resolved quickly and cheaply. That means you're being lowballed. If you're wondering whether you should accept an early settlement offer from the other driver's insurance company after a car wreck, my answer is usually no. Not until when? Not until you understand what your injuries are. Not until you understand the release that they're giving you and what it means for the future of your case. And not until you're confident that the offer covers the full impact of the crash. If you're getting pressured, slow it down. Get medical attention, get all the records, document everything, and get advice before you sign anything. Because remember, once you sign, the case is over. You cannot go back a second time if things change injury-wise, treatment-wise, bill-wise. You are 100% done with your case. You just learned why settling too early can cost you thousands of dollars and put your health at risk. But here's another big mistake that can wreck a claim. What if you didn't get a police report at the scene? Can you file a claim and get compensation if the police were not called out to the scene of the wreck? Don't miss our next video. Can you file a car accident claim without a police report? It's packed with crucial advice for Georgia drivers who want to avoid getting denied or shortchanged by insurance. I'll see you over there.